As Andy Stanley says, experience doesn't make you wiser, it just makes you older. It's evaluated experience that makes you wiser. I had a chance to sit down and do just that with a great friend and fellow business owner to chat about her first 10 years in business, launching and running a super successful marketing agency in Atlanta. And of course, we focused in on some of the things that she's learned along the way. I hope you enjoy listening in on my conversation with Katie Dubnik, president of Forum Communications. So today is so exciting because I have a really good friend of mine. This is Katie Dubnik. And Katie, actually, I don't know if you know this, I listed you in like my top 5 most important people in my life in a podcast. I don't know if you listened to that podcast. The question was,
yes.
Someone said 5 people that have impacted your life.
Okay.
Right? Of course, my parents were in there. There were some, really important people on that list. But you actually made the list because you and I started our businesses, as you know, kind of at the same time. Mine was a side hustle, but you started Forum Communications, which is incredibly successful, about the same time that I took my business full time.
That's right.
And so you have been a partner along the way that has legitimately had a huge impact on my business and our friendship.
Yeah.
So if nothing else happens today, thank you.
Well, you're welcome. I'm flattered, honored to be amongst the greats in your life, like your parents and other, movers and shakers. Because I do think that it's amazing when you look back 10 years or however many years ago, and you think about the people that have been placed in your life at certain points in time for reasons. I hold you in that same grouping of people as well. There are certain people that I feel like I've come across in my life at the right time, the right place, that have helped propel me, give me courage, help me know that I can, take another step or do something new. And you're definitely one of those people for me too. Wow,
thank you. I do have a question. How did we meet? Because I honestly have a big question mark about that. I know when I started working alongside you, as a vendor partner or whatever.
Sure.
But I actually have a question mark around how you actually met me and vice versa.
Well, and if I go back and I think about that, I think I had heard, so I was working at the hospital here in Gainesville and PR and marketing and loving life and doing great and having a great time. And we were starting to dabble into some testimonial videos, and we started trying to brainstorm who we might want to use. And somehow, I don't know who, but somebody had mentioned that there's this guy, he's awesome. He could probably do those kind of feel good, great videos. Go call him. And I think I just picked up the phone and called you. I think it was a cold call from somebody just in passing mentioning your name over at your full-time gig. Because
right.
I think you were starting kind of to have your side hustle.
That's right.
And then your full-time gig. And then I think we worked on, well, I know it was obviously a testimonial video was one of the first things that we did together. I feel like it was in an OR.
I feel like there's a step even in the middle of that is that someone else from the hospital cold called me and said, I got your name from Katie.
From Katie.
And I said,
who's Katie?
I said, like a total pro, awesome, that's great. And when I hung up, I was like, who's Katie? I'm not joking about that. I was like, I don't know who, it was Kristen. Kristen called.
Was it Kristen? Okay.
She called me about, it was in my memory, she called me about doing a cancer testimonial thing.
Okay.
Because that was her service line.
Yep.
And she called, and I didn't know who she was, and I didn't know who this Katie person was, but Katie recommended me.
It was me.
Right?
Uh-huh.
And I think you and I did. Our first thing was like an OR thing.
Uh-huh.
Maybe I'm not joking, like a year after that.
It was a while.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, it was a while.
This is like 2006, 7, 8, something like that. Because you started Forum when?
I started Forum in, oh gosh, now you're putting me on the spot. It was 2012. So November of 2012.
Which is 10 years. You guys are doing
10 years. We're doing our 10-year anniversary right now.
Right.
So, yeah.
So we did a couple things when it was a side hustle for me, and
and I was at the hospital.
A full-time gig already.
Uh-huh.
Did some smaller just kind of things in that way. And then when you started Forum, this is one of my favorite stories. And it's not like an amazing story or anything, but I remember you saying, hey, can we go grab some coffee? This is how I remember
Yep.
the story. You can tell it however you remember it.
No, you're telling it right.
Can
so
we
far.
go get some coffee? And I was like, oh man, I don't know what this is about. You know, like, you know, you just wonder, like when someone just says, hey, can we schedule a meeting for Friday? You're like, oh, you know, uh-oh. So anyway, we went to Starbucks, and it was a brand new Starbucks over on Dawsonville Highway. It was brand new. I'd never actually been to that Starbucks yet. Anyway, we went there, and I remember you just telling me you were going to start your own basically creative agency, PR agency. I don't remember the words you used.
Yeah.
And I remember being so excited for you. And then it was, you know, kind of like, okay, so she's telling me this why, and you were just basically saying, hey, I would love to partner with you on stuff if you're interested in doing that. And I was side hustling, you know, just kind of, you know, doing stuff to, you know, kind of be creative, make ends meet, all those kinds of things. And it had been in the back of my mind of possibly taking what I did full time. And so knowing that someone like you, trusted and really good at what you do, we're starting your agency, and I could possibly partner and be a part of your journey, you know, over here doing my thing, you know, in a very specific channel of video, was exciting for me. I remember that conversation. I mean, like it was 10 years ago, but I feel like it was today.
I feel the same. And I remember that conversation too. And what I love about conversations with AJ are that he always asks the tough questions. And maybe that's because of what you do and how well you storytell and things. But you do help challenge and help people think and frame up, you know, all the different angles of where maybe their brains are and the message or where they're going with things. And so
Did I ask you a hard question that day?
Oh, I'm sure you asked me a lot of hard questions, because you always ask something very pointed and very not a surface level question.
Sure.
And you have to kind of be committed and like ready to take a step, and kind of to know. And sometimes a conversation with you helps you know,
Sure.
this is right, or this actually does feel right, or I actually can answer AJ's question about that. So I feel like I've thought this through. But I think that that's just something that I've always appreciated with you too. It's just the ability to kind of challenge, push each other to create awesome work and to follow our passions and to make a living and a life out of our passions together for 10 years now. But to challenge each other and grow and just know, like, he's not just going to let me like skirt by and, not ask a question that's burning in his heart.
Good. Well, I'm glad I can give you that anxiety that you know that I'm going to ask you a hard question. Okay, so I actually do have a hard question for you.
See?
I really do. I no joke. Like I've been reflecting on doing my thing, AJ Parker Media, for 10 years full time, right? Sure. I think 16 years, altogether. And so I've been reflecting back, like what's worked, what hasn't worked, what would I keep doing, what would I not keep doing, those kinds of things. What, have I determined what my voice is, like, in terms of communicating with my clients, like all those things, right?
Sure.
So what have you learned in the last 10 years? And it doesn't have to be an exhaustive list or a number one thing, but just like nuggets for people who most likely are like probably getting started or scared, because as you know, starting something like you've started, especially, you've got 13 full-time employees and offices. I mean, you've got a major situation going on, which is awesome.
It is a situation, isn't it?
Which is awesome. But there's a lot of fear, know, and I'm sure you had that along the way. But now that you're looking back 10 years, right? What are some of those things that you've learned?
There's so many lessons to have learned, and I could take up a long time. I think one of the biggest things that I always tell people is I have been successful because I've surrounded myself by people that are smarter than me, and I'm not afraid to surround people that are smarter than me and that are gifted, talented individuals that pour into their work and have passion and care about their work. Their work is a reflection of them. It's not just a paycheck. It's not just a pay stub. And so for me, surrounding myself with people who are passionate, passion, builds upon passion. I just think that when you're doing good work and you're loving what you're doing, and you've got a collective group just all working together, respecting one another, and all with common aligned goals, that it just kind of sings. It just kind of works.
I think that from my outside perspective is you guys do that well. You guys are clearly all rowing in the same direction and at the same pace, like somebody's not trying to outdo someone else and all that. You guys clearly are are harmoniously going in the same direction. And I would say for the benefit of those around you, right? So that could be your clients, but also your vendors, partners, whatever you would call someone like me, you know,
Right.
and everyone y'all come in contact with. So I know that I admire that from the outside looking in,
Yeah.
that you guys are clearly all on the same team,
Sure.
doing incredible work.
Sure. It's an awesome team.
So why do you, I mean, 13 people is a lot. I know your client load is a lot.
Yeah.
You guys are probably busier than you've ever been, if I read the numbers right, you know?
We are.
And so can you tell me, why do you do this, right? There's probably easier ways to make money, or, you know, just get through your day or your week or whatever. There's probably a lot easier ways, right?
Sure.
Why do you do this?
You know, you just have a calling, right? And I think there's fulfillment in so many different ways with Forum, for me personally, and I think for the team as well. But, you know, running a business that I did have a business background. I came from Terry College of Business at UGA. So, you know, that business side, it fulfills, it kind of checks all the boxes. So it fulfills my business side. It fulfills that ability to help move needles for the community, for small businesses, to kind of just help people along in building their dreams. I think that really makes me happy, is helping other people fulfill their dreams. And so we get to do that every day at Forum. That's what we do. But then also, just to your point, the team and building that team, it's just a magical place to be. And I don't think that, I don't know that you set out and plan to check all those boxes. But at the end of the day, you know, you kind of end up doing it and you see, oh, well, that's just kind of, that's what it means to be fulfilled for me. We all do these jobs more than probably 40 hours a week, if we're being honest, right?
Yes,
And so you might as well love what you do and love all the different aspects of it, and even the things that drive you nuts and the things that keep you up at night. You might as well, you know, the good's got to outweigh the bad, and it's got to be a lot of fun along the way. So that's kind of just where we've always been.
It's awesome.
Where we've lived.
I think you guys are doing that.
Yeah, it's fun.
Okay, I want to talk about a recent project we worked on together, but before that, really fast, these can be short answers, okay?
Okay, good.
Is, what are things you, 10 years in, right,
Yeah.
you want to keep doing, and 10 years in, you don't want to, like, these are things that you know, maybe you don't need to do those things anymore. You know what I mean? Just so that we, and even I, just sitting here, can learn a thing or two. You know what I mean? So, I mean, just quick and easy things. You know what I mean? I'll give you an example.
Okay,
Like,
give me an example.
For me, going to bed early, I'm going to keep doing that, because I have found that when I go to bed early, I have a much better day the next day. Even if I get a bunch of stuff done the night before, it's not as good as if I do those things in the morning. That's personal, right? Right. But that's something I'm going to keep doing that. You know what I mean? So any examples of things that either business, personal, entrepreneurial, whatever, you would keep doing or stop doing?
Okay, yeah.
Go for it.
Well, I think keep doing. Invest in yourself.
Okay.
Definitely. Find time to exercise
Yes.
and think.
I got up this morning at 4:30 because I needed to get that exercise in.
Right.
Because I knew it would create for a better day today.
You know, one thing that I'm going to start doing more is listening to more podcasts and finding more, I don't know, outside knowledge to pour into me.
Absolutely.
I don't know it all. So don't pretend to know it all. Don't know it all. So I need to learn from other people. So that's another thing I'm going to do more of.
I'm finding that, even though I've been doing this a while and I'm getting what people would probably call good at what I do, the next generation behind me, even though there's this temptation to kind of view them as the younger, you know, coming in behind, like, whoa, you couldn't possibly know as much as I do.
Right.
Like, there's a lot to learn from the next generation of people that are coming into our industries that I can learn from, and vice versa. They have a lot they can learn from me. And now I want to be respected, but I also want to respect the younger generation, because I remember being the younger generation, and you didn't feel respected for what you knew and whatever. So, okay, I keep interrupting you. What else? Anything else you would keep doing, stop doing?
Let's think. Stop worrying. You know, one thing I will tell you, owning a business, and I wonder if you've found this as well. I know I'm not supposed to have long answers, but stop worrying. I mean, if you're proactive and you manage your business right, it usually all works out okay.
Yeah.
That's a hard one. Letting go, letting control of everything go. That's a big one.
What's your Enneagram number? Do you know?
I'm a, wait. which one's the loyalist? Six,
Six is a
7?
loyalist,
I'm a
yep.
6'7".
So-
I'm a 6-wing 7.
Yeah, so the 6 does operate out of fear a little bit.
I am
And
a fear operator.
So you have had to accommodate for that,
I have.
right?
Absolutely.
Okay.
I like control. Yes, I'm a worrier
I
by
found
nature.
that worrying for me, and I'm not a 6 on the Enneagram, so I don't lean that way, but worrying too much. But worrying is just like empty calories. You know what I mean? Like it's just not worth it. When you get to the end of it, the lack of sleep, the lack of peace and all that ultimately is just not. Now there are things you need to be smart about. Like you can't make poor decisions, but you also can't sit in those things you cannot control. You cannot sit there stressing about them or it'll eat you up.
It will. And especially, when you own a business, you've just got to kind of sometimes let go.
Yep.
Do everything you can do and let it go.
For sure.
See where the dominoes fall.
Yeah. So last thing I just kind of want to wrap up with, and any other thoughts you have is totally cool, is so for me, creating positive and unforgettable experiences on screen and off is like my little statement thing. And of course I've memorized that. I could say it all day, whatever.
Right.
But the bottom line there is that for me, I want people to not just enjoy the video that I create for them, but I want people to love the process too, because that's not always the case. When I first got into this industry, I wasn't sure that production was what I wanted to do because it was kind of a miserable process. So I've tried to personally just just take the edge off, I guess, make it a little easier, all that stuff. So 2 questions is, 1, do you feel like that was true during filming with you?
Okay.
And so you can speak to that if you want to. If it wasn't, I'm going to cut it out of this video. And 2 is, what can I add to that experience, right? From your side of things, you've been on the client side and now we've made videos for you, right? So what can I add to that experience? So do you feel like it's true? Am I living into what I say I do? I would love your honest feedback. And then 2, how can I make it better?
Meaningful and positive experience. I would say absolutely. And I think that's part of why we come to you again and again and again. It's not just for the end result and your craft and the expertise that you're able to always produce, but it is the experience that we can take AJ Parker Media in front of any client. We can take you anywhere with anyone, and we know that our brands are in alignment together, that everyone's going to have a positive experience, that you're going to make it easy, because videoing it's stressful. People freeze. It's hard. Cameras are scary. All of the things.
It is.
And so just putting everybody at ease, you do that. You make it fun. You make it meaningful. You make it purposeful. And I think that a lot of why we use you, like I said, it's not just for that end result that's always fantastic and stellar. It's also for that experience, because it is important. And we talk about that too. Our clients are part of our team. They're an extension of us. And so you're just an extension of that as well for us. And when we bring you in, we're wrapping you into the forum culture, reputation, and everything.
I love it. I love it.
And we go together, and I trust you with that.
Awesome. Well, thank you. How can I make the experience of filming better? Other than you not having to be on camera, because I know that's your answer. Genuine question. Is there anything I can do to add to the experience just to make it, easier, more enjoyable? Anything I can do?
Yeah. Can you bring us coffee?
Sure. If coffee makes everybody happy, that's actually a really great suggestion.
No, I think you do a great job. I don't know that I have a suggestion other than not putting me on the camera.
Okay. Well, thank you for letting me partner with you. Thank you for doing this video, because I know that being on camera is not your favorite. But really, it's been an honor to get to work alongside you. Like 10 years kind of flew by, you know what I mean?
Totally.
And hopefully we're doing it 10 years from now, we're having this discussion about, hey, 20 years, of partnering. Hopefully we're having that discussion. So I'm excited to see where Forum goes. Thank you for serving our community well, your clients well, and your partners.
Well, thank you for helping me make the leap. Went to coffee, helped me get the courage to pursue my dreams. And thanks for putting me in your top 5 and all the things that we've done together and all the things we'll do going forward. I'm just honored to work beside you. It's been great.
Awesome. Thank you.
Yeah.